Hi, friends. Welcome to another live stream. I'm Nelson, and today I am going on a streak. This is the fourth week in a row that I'm streaming on Friday. And to be honest, I totally forgot about it. I need to put it on my calendar that I'm streaming. And when I learned about it this morning during the Flow Walker session, the Mesh, one of the Flow Walkers, said, "Hey, you streaming today?" I'm like, "Oh my god!" And he's like, "Yeah, weren't you gonna have Roy on?" I was like, "Oh yeah." And thankfully, Roy is still available to be a guest, and really excited to learn more about him, how he started his career, and he's a framer, template designer. And for me, I've always thought of like templates as like something I want to do, but I can't. Like my brain doesn't function like that. Like I try to start a template and then I'm just stuck. I'm like, how do I start? I'm building something for everyone. Like my whole career has been someone giving me some sort of back in the day it was just Photoshop or Illustrator files, and then someone saying, "Hey, take this and make it into code and make it functional." I'm like, okay. But then when you have the opportunity where you are the designer and no one's stopping you from building anything you want, there's no guardrails. I get kind of scared, and so that's why I'm like, uh, how do I even begin? So we have someone who has sold templates on Framers Marketplace, and I want to know what that life is like. So let me just bring him up. And again, if you're in the live chat in, say, Twitter, YouTube, or LinkedIn, I see your chats like right here. Let me see here. There we go. Yeah, Palangos and Jay, welcome. Welcome. Palangos, I'm trying Framer for my next project. Yeah, I have still yet to create a full Framer website. I need to learn it. I need to find time to learn it. But man, yeah, I'm hearing Framers coming up in the world. And Nikki is also curious about Framers. So I guess, yeah, when we get our special guest here, he can help you out with that and answer any questions. So if you have any questions for Roy, start queuing them up, and I'll bring them up. But without further ado, let's bring our special guest, Roy. Oh my gosh, am I gonna mess up your last name? Roy Quilor. Quilor? Quilor.
That's
Right.
perfect.
Okay, cool. How you doing?
I'm great, thank you. I'm honored to be in the stream with you, Nelson. So yeah, thanks again for inviting me.
Yeah, you're one of the people who frequently stop by in the Flow Walker space, and you're one of those who specifically uses Framer, and I'm still learning about that world, and also I'm learning about making templates. And like I said in the intro, I don't know if you heard, it's such a different world for me that I still can't grasp, and I guess it's just the way my brain functions or what I've done for my whole career. But for this first icebreaker, before we get into learning more about you as a person and how you got into it, uh, are you rocking the mullet right now? The mullet hairstyle?
100%. Yeah.
Okay, why is that a thing? So my nephew convinced me, and my wife convinced me to get a mullet, and I'm like, it is hard to maintain. It's just a lot of hair in the back, and I'm not used to it.
Oh, it's a good question. I mean, I actually wanted to go back to the 80s. I wanted to grow out my hair, and then I just went to the barber, and he just suggested, "Why don't you why don't you do a mullet?" So he just went ahead and did that, and I thought it's quite also functional because it's getting cold in the UK, so it keeps my head warm.
It's a winter fashion for us men. Okay, got it. I got it. Yeah, it's. I haven't had long hair in a long time, and it's like it feels weird to me. So that's why I'm like, this is the icebreaker question. Like rocking the mullet, it's coming back for the winter at least, and yeah, it's a thing. And I saw like a recent picture of the actor Henry Cavill, and he's rocking it too. And I'm like, I guess that's the thing. So, yeah. Uh, so yeah, let's start to learn more about you. Where you calling in from again?
So I'm based in the UK in Hertford, so it's near London.
Okay, cool, cool. And yeah, like tell us more about yourself. Like how'd you get into this industry? How did you start as a designer?
Yeah, it goes way back to way back in my teenager days when I really loved things like Marvel comics. I was collecting cards, collecting comics, and I really liked the fonts they used and the art they did on the comics. And then that led me into computers, where I
Mhm.
studied uh, computer technology. This was a long time ago, and that's when I started loving computers. And then that's when I did a degree in HND multimedia computing. So that led me into a bit of coding, a bit of macromedia flash back in those days.
I remember.
That's way back, and then that eventually led me into my first job, which was a designer, a UI designer, and I was there for 5 years. It was working with a digital asset management system, and that's
What
where I
tool?
had to learn a bit of coding as well. So HTML, not really coding, but HTML and CSS, and that's
Yeah.
where I learned a lot about that back in the early days.
Okay. Okay. So you're talking about micromedia, like, and then you're a designer with a digital assets manager. Like, what tool were you using back then, uh, for the start of your career?
Oh yeah, it was Photoshop, and we used to have these code editors called Espresso, like a really old code editors.
I think I
Yeah,
remember that espresso, or there was something like coffee cup or something like that. It's like,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
There's
yeah,
quite a
yeah,
few of them.
yeah,
Yeah, that brings back memories when I say espresso. But yeah,
yeah. Oh man, well that's cool. And then my next question is like you're still doing this, and you know how this industry goes as a designer. There's always a new tool. Feels like every month, and then there's a new framework every week, and then a new trend every day. Right? So what keeps you going in this industry? Because it moves so fast. Like, why are you still in it?
that's a great question, and that's something I do ask myself.
I think we
Consist.
all do.
Yeah, it's like, why am I even here, right? Why am I still doing this? I think it just comes down to the passion. That like it's been said in the Flow Walkers, it's the craft. Do you really enjoy the craft? Do you really enjoy designing? Do you really enjoy looking at trends and doing it every day for potentially the rest of your life? It might sound daunting, but that's something I've chosen, that path. And I feel that, yeah, this is kind of where I feel my place is. I
Yeah.
love design, and that's why I'm still been in the industry and still surviving and still learning to grow. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're all just learning to survive. Yeah. So now getting into your templates, can you show us some of your templates, or like show us what you've done with Framer?
Yeah, sure. I'll be happy to share that. Let me share my
And again,
screen.
while everyone in chat, if you have a question for Roy, anything about Framer, selling templates, making templates, or whatever, pop them in chat, and I'll queue them up for Roy. All right. So let me get your screen up here. All right. Oh, let me use this one. There we go. Or let me try this one. Okay, cool. Much better. All right. Yeah, take us through like um what have you done with one of your templates? If you can show us like an example of one of the templates that you're selling or what you've done.
Yes. So before I get into that, I've created an e-commerce store, and this is to showcase the Framer template. So, for example, this is the website. It's called soloui.com. And what I provide here is other resources such as a Figma component library. Uh, and then that leads into the Framer template, which is for a SaaS. And so if I go into that, let's have a preview. So let's go straight to the live template. So this is it. This is a template that I released 2 months ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this is targeted at SaaS. And the main reason why is because I've worked with SaaS startups for maybe the last 4 years.
Mm,
So I kind of felt that I had some experience in this niche, and I had some passion as well. So that's why I felt, why don't I try and target the SaaS niche? But yeah, this is the main template that I've sold recently, and it's got a
nice.
dark mode in there, which is a nice thing about Framer. They do have variables and themes, which is pretty nice. So yeah, I just put a lot of my take on what I feel a SaaS could be like in terms of the design. However, with templates, you want to have this kind of style where you want it to be classic, because you don't want it to be too opinionated on the design, because you want designers to be able to make changes and to adapt it to their style.
Yeah.
That's one thing to consider with templates. You don't want to go too crazy. You want to have a good balance with design.
Yeah. So let's start from the beginning because again, how when I started this stream, like you have the opportunity as a template designer for any platform. If you're a template designer, you have no guardrails. You have no direction. It is all up to you and yourself. And so that part scares me because you have no one telling you what to do except for yourself. And I think one of the hardest projects that any web developer, web designer, graphic designer has to deal with is their own portfolio site, because that's basically the same thing. You have no guardrails, and it's up to you to figure out what pixels to put on the page, what color, what type, where to put the pixels, and how to build it in your preferred platform. And then at the end of the day, when you press launch, you think, this is the crappiest thing in the world. I hate it because it's me and I'm looking in a mirror, and that's why it's the hardest project. So, how do you start creating a template, and at the end you feel confident enough to sell it? So where does that process begin?
Wow, I mean that's a big question. Uh,
But you've
but
answered it. You're selling this online right now.
yes, I mean, I would say that you'd have to go a bit deeper. When I say deeper, it's like why did I start creating templates? And the reason why is because when you are uh, when you're a freelance designer, or as in my case, I'm a small studio. It's just me, a solo agency owner. So my time on client work is not very scalable. Uh, as in, you'll hit a ceiling because you can only work how many hours per week.
True.
So this is where I looked into scalable solutions, and this is what led me into digital products. And that's why I felt that templates is a nice thing to try, because that's kind of where my passion is with SaaS. And so therefore, yeah, the motivation is I want to try and not always rely on client work, but also to build some digital products. And that is like the core, probably the core motivation, and to keep me going, the hunger.
Yeah.
Like you said, things get hard because there's no one to direct you. You have to go with your own inspiration, your own gut instinct.
Hmm.
Um, but the nice thing is, if you've experienced this, which is what I did with past clients, building a landing page for them, you kind of get a feel for what are the common sections you need. You kind of feel for what you need on the landing page. For example, if I go back to the landing page, we have the value proposition, and then the description, what it is. And sometimes this might not be super clear. And then from there, you have the CTAs. You also have social proof as well. I thought that's quite important. And then this is just highlighting the different features, the different screens of the product itself.
So
Um,
your designs are starting from what you've already done in the past, and you see the same pattern going over and over. I mean, this type of layout we've seen over and over on like Linear and a lot of other SaaS, you know. And so when I think about that, even with client projects, I'm always thinking like, how can I do something that's a little bit different than what I've seen people do? And so I guess you're taking that same thing of like, what are people doing, and then how can I? Okay, now I'm getting in my head as I'm talking out loud. You're streamlining the process not only for you, but also future people who want to buy the same type of layout. You're like, okay, I streamlined it, and here you go. Here's this pretty package, right?
yes, I mean that is a very good way to put it because you are saving designers time. They already have a common sitemap or common build that they want, and then they might go on Framer or Webflow, and they then have a kind of a mindset of I need a certain template. It has to have certain features, certain pages. For example, you got the pricing page, you got a blog CMS as well, which then takes you into the article page. You got things like subscribe sections. You got the footers. So this is it's quite common. Um, but then, like you said, can you be different? So that's a challenge because you have to have a balance between being different and being classic. Classic as
Yeah,
in they're gonna see that and say, hey, I can mold that into my brand or into the client's vision. I can use that template, and then once they're in the template, the next challenge is how easy it is for them to then make changes. So yeah, there's a lot of technical stuff that you have to make it quite easy for them. You don't want to get too complicated with the design as well.
yeah, yeah. That's a hard balance, and that's why I'm I think that's the part in my head that I cannot function. You know, finding that balance of like, on one side, if you're gonna sell a template, it has to kind of look flashy, but not too much to the point where it intimidates the potential buyer. And it has to be super clean so that the potential buyer is like, okay, I can see myself adding different colors or changing a little bit, but not too clean where it's boring. But you're able to balance that. So is there, I guess, anyone who is trying to become a template designer, how what tips would you give someone to find that balance?
I would say, for example, I would take you through it now. So
Oh,
I would say go to the Framer marketplace, and you could then look at specific categories. So one that aligns with what you're interested in, because when times get hard, you want to persevere. So, for example, SaaS. So that was one niche that I wanted to target. And then you can kind of see what is already trending. You can go to paid, for example, because mine is a paid template. You
mhm.
can see what's trending, and then you can look at these examples. So mine is actually not doing too bad. It's actually on the first page,
Nice.
233 templates. But here you can check out the competition, and you can see potentially what is standing out. And this one was just released or updated 5 hours ago. Um, and then you can preview. So you're kind of getting a sense of what there is currently in the market,
Mhm.
and you can see what type of sections they have, and you can start to get a sense of what the market is like. And I think that that's the opportunity in, can you then give something that's slightly different? You don't want to go too far. Um, I mean, that's the exciting part, is can you put your own unique taste on it? But then if you're a person that finds it hard to be creative, that could be your advantage as well, because you can come up with something classic and clean.
Yeah.
Um, but another thing to say is, like you said, you have to have a balance between being different and being classic. However, what I would say is that it's the market that will determine what is what is good and what is not good, or what is popular. So you could spend hours, like me. I've spent time on other templates and they didn't get that many sales. So I've definitely had failures before this one. um so I've released probably two templates as well on the Framer marketplace, and they got a few sales. But this one recently that I released, it has got more sales. And I mean, it took a bit of time to produce.
Yeah.
But I would say again, don't be afraid to try, because again, the market will determine, what is good and what is in demand.
Cool. And so like how's the business been going? You said your current template has been selling a few more. So do you see this as a good source of income still, being a part of the Framer marketplace?
Yeah, I mean, as an example, numbers wise, this template was released 2 months ago. We had 16 sales. That's
A bit
eleven
more
nine.
than two. Okay, good job.
Yeah, I mean 1195 USD. I mean, over 2 months. I mean, that probably doesn't sound like a lot, but
No, but
I
it's scalable. You're
yeah,
you're making that money, at any moment. Well, it's like in the bigger picture, it's not a lot after like taxes and overhead and the time you spent, but still, it's like these steps to understand the market and understand what your next template is going to be.
and that's a really good segue. What is the next template, and for those that are watching and listening in, how do you decide on a template? How can you be a bit more strategic on that? So that's why I wanted to. I mentioned Framer University. I haven't got his link here. His name is Nandi on YouTube. He's done a
Hmm.
really good video on niche templates, and it's actually a question I asked him. So the way that he went about it is he went into a keywords traffic search tool.
Hmm.
And for example, you can use Hrefs if you've used that service before. And you would then put in a specific category. So, for example, let's say SaaS. So you would put these keywords in the tool, and then you would see the volume that you would get. So, for example, let's say, for example, this is getting potentially 500 to 1,000 searches per month, or I'm not sure on the day, but you're getting about 1,000 searches. And then his formula, my maths are terrible. He would then look at how many templates there is in that category. He would then divide it. I can't remember which number he divided which, but then he
Yeah.
came up with a final number. So
Yeah.
from his calculations, the template that was calculated back in October 2024 is e-commerce. That is the one that is highly searched for and has the least competition. So this is
Mm.
probably where I feel, okay, I want to. This is probably the next template, because when I talk about the SaaS template, that is actually, there's quite a lot of templates,
Yeah.
and that's not searched as highly as e-commerce, and yet it still managed to get me some decent sales. So that is probably where I think e-commerce, and there's also landing page, and there's
Hmm.
also real estate. This is from memory when I looked at his trending calculator. So that is one way that you can choose to do a template. But one thing I would add in that is, are you passionate about that as well?
Yeah.
Because it's gonna. The reason why I say that is because you have to go through the submission process, and that can also be tough as well.
I was
Not
going
for
to
me.
ask about that. So before you get to the submission process, like, okay, so I see where it starts. You start by researching the data. What are people are looking for? What's selling? Where's competition? How can I be a little bit different? Cool, I got that. Um, but towards you start building it, and you're trying to make it as clean as possible, but not too clean, adding your little style to it. But then before you even submit it, how do you know when it's done? Because again, working with clients, it's so simple. They're like, okay, here's another feedback round of changes, and they're like, okay, I've done them. Cool, it's done. We're ready to launch. Go ahead and publish it live. Cool, check, tick. I'm done. But you're building it for yourself, and just like a portfolio site for yourself, it's like, how do you know it's done? Like, yeah, when are you satisfied enough to be like, I am pushing this to the framer team, or does the framer team give you some tips? Like, yeah, so what is that part like? So you're submitting it.
Yeah, I guess one bad answer would be probably work on it until you're sick of it, right? That might be one way, which might take forever, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend that, but I would say that you should probably time box your commitment, because you could work on this for months, you know. So
Yeah.
I would say, something like this. I mean, it definitely took me months, but I would say, depending on your time and commitments, you could time box it or commit to a month. So you'd have a deadline on your project, because you can always do improvements and iterations. That's the downside of working for yourself or doing your own project. And the other side to that is, oh, sorry, yeah, with the Framer team, they're great because they do provide feedback. So they do give
Mm,
you technical feedback, uh, if the template is hard to use, and what to improve. They do talk about components. They do talk about styles. They do give you good feedback on that. And they also give you the design feedback. So the first stage from memory is they'll look at the template technically. uh,
okay.
is SEO good? Is it fast loading? Have you done alt tags on your images?
Mm,
There's certain things you have to do, and they have a really good checklist on their Framer template submissions. It's really good, so you can go through that, and it is a long process, but it is worth it, because when you get to submission, you're gonna have less things to worry about.
yeah.
Once you pass that stage, you're then into the design stage, where they'll give you feedback on some designs.
Hmm.
And then if they okay that, then you're through. You're going to be into the marketplace.
Nice. And how long is that whole process? Like, say the feedback is just like quick, within a day. You send they send you feedback, you change it, and then you give it the same day. Like, imagine it's that type of speed. So what would you say is the rough timeline for the submission?
I think it would depend on the template, depending how big it is.
Mm.
Uh, so, for example, this template, it did take a while, but that's not on all on them. It was me, because I went on holiday and I came
How
back.
dare you? How dare
Yeah.
you take a break? No, hustle
Oh,
culture. You have to work every minute of every day of your life. No, oh, makes sense. Got to take that holiday.
well, actually, saying that, that's what actually inspired me to create my first template. So when I went away to the Philippines, I was on holiday, and I went to the province, and it was near a beach, and that then inspired me to create my first template, and it's called Sabang. And that's actually what got me my first sale on the internet, which was amazing. So going on holiday, I mean, that is another way of just getting inspired to come up with
Yeah.
ideas, and then you come back refreshed, and then you can, create templates or create a digital product. So yeah, going on holiday is massive, is huge.
Oh God, yeah. For everyone, if you're in chat right now, if you're watching this recording, yeah, holidays, taking a break for yourself, getting away from the screen is is so inspiring. Like, you'll come back refreshed and more creative. Oh, and we have someone from the Philippines in chat right now.
Oh wow,
Pocolo, welcome. Nice. Yeah, so that whole submission process, what would say the timeline? Like, say a month, 2 months?
yeah, yeah. Some of them, it only took maybe 2 weeks, because it was really quick. But
Yeah.
this one, my most recent one, streamed, that at least took 2 months, because it's a lot of. They do give you feedback, and you have to improve it, and then you go back, and they give you more feedback. So that can be a long process.
Yeah.
But what I've learned from that, every time you make a template, you're definitely going to get better. So I kind of learned that the next template is going to be done in a certain way with components, and it's not going to be too complex and too many like layers, like
Mm.
too many divs and frames. It's going to be more simple, more easy to
Yeah.
change, essentially.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So it's a very strict process, but it makes sense. It's all about quality, not quantity. You know, and like I don't know about you, but I've seen templates in all different platforms where it just gets too crazy, especially with animations. It's like, why? How did these templates get into a marketplace, and you expect the end user, the buyer, to maintain, to edit an animation that is so complex? It doesn't make sense. And so, like, keeping it clean and easier to use for the buyers of these templates, I'm glad that they have those guardrails for template designers. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Totally agree.
So, yeah. So I guess my next question was like, how do you become a Framer template designer? I guess first you have to go to Philippines, get inspiration, and then submit your first template. Right? Is that the process?
I mean, that's not a bad idea. It's nice and warm over there, right? You get the beaches, the sun, maybe some mosquito bites, maybe as well. So
Ooh. Yeah, I heard about big insects over there. So I haven't been. I need to go back to the motherland, the province and whatnot. But yeah. So I guess anyone who can understand at least the basics of Framer can can refine those skills and start submitting templates to Framer, and that's about it. That's the whole process. Would you agree?
yes, and another reason why I went with Framer is because of the competition. So Webflow, which is another great platform, and I've used Webflow. There's a lot of competition there, and that is one of the reasons why Framer. I went to Framer to make templates because it's less competition and it's not as saturated as Webflow. Um, so that I felt that was going to give me more of a chance to make sales, and yeah, it seemed to work currently at the
Yeah,
moment.
yeah, makes sense. You got to go where you can stand out, and I agree. I mean, you think about it, Framer has been in the no code, low code web design space for just a couple years, whereas Webflow is over a decade now. So yeah, a lot more competition on Webflow template marketplace than Framer marketplace. So yeah, um, I I would like you, maybe in the future I learn Framer a little bit more, and you can be my creative director, and you can just shoot it down like this is going to be a bad template. Why are you doing this, Nelson? I would love that feedback from you one day if I can learn Framer sometime this year. So
Oh man, I'll be honored to do that. Yeah, always.
honored to um like give me thumbs down everywhere on my template. So yes, I would like to learn. But Jay, one of the flow walkers is here. Hi Jay. He's saying, "Hey Roy, some people say that they see many people creating templates, but not many with client projects from your perspective. From your perspective, have you seen clients using your templates?"
Yeah, that is a good question. So I did get some emails where they've asked me, oh, can I keep it on light mode? Can I keep it on dark mode? And they've sent me some of their domains. So I've went through their domains and I can see they have an actual like business, like an app or a SaaS. So and they have their own custom domain, because that's another thing where if they sign up to Framer platform and you are also a Framer partner, then you will also get a commission on that.
Yeah,
So I've then seen the rewards come through. I haven't seen all the end use cases, but from some of the clients that reached out or template buyers that reached out, I have seen their domains, and yes, it looks they're using the template which I'm amazed about. I didn't
Is
expect
there one you
anyone.
can show us right now that off the top of your head, or like you can
Uh,
show, or if you're allowed to show?
yeah, I haven't got I haven't got one in the top of my head, to be honest. I'll have to probably go back and find it. But
Yeah.
then,
While you're finding it, I have your template showing up here on my screen. So go ahead. I'll give you some time to find it. I'll share my screen. But yeah, again, this is Roy Quilor, and Framer template designer, and yeah, this is one of his templates that he is now selling, and he has sold a good number of template sold a good number of copies of this template. And yeah, going from a blank project to creating something that's interesting, like this right here, playing with a 3D scrolling effect right here, that's pretty cool. And then I think there's a right here, if I refresh, there's some sort of animation. There we go, a text animation here in the hero with some sliding in animations here. And then that nav bar at the top, you see that it's changing as I scroll down. Yeah. So building something for everyone in yeah, it's a very interesting life to me, and something that is still hard for me to grasp. But after this call, it's like, yeah, I think I can get into it. Cool, cool. All right. Do you have it open, Roy, on your screen?
I'm still trying to look,
Okay,
to be
no
honest.
worries. I know how to fill time. Take your time. And David Martinez. Hello, Filipinos. Yes. Hailing from Long Beach. Oh, Long Beach. Please stay safe. I'm in Southern California as well. Uh yeah, the fires are crazy. Wildfire season. So please stay safe, and I hope you're doing well. And yeah, thank you for coming on the stream. And Jay is saying that your template looks rad. All right. Yeah, so yeah, I can see how simple this is, and to me, I love more simple, less animation. I think nothing against Spline, Rive, Lottie. Animations are awesome, but I love simplicity. I think, like the whole trend of like making 3D and animations and whatnot. I'm like, can we calm down a bit with websites? And that's why my previous client, who I don't mind saying I lost them because I don't know Framer, and they moved from Webflow to Framer. I don't mind saying that because I still love them, and their design team is just like, oh, they were such a pleasure to work with, and they redesigned their site in Framer, and I'm like, it's it's still to this day, it makes me want to flip my desk. Once when you flip my desk every time I go to their website because it's so clean. And this is what I mean. Look at how clean this is. We've seen these hero rows all the time, right? Like big H1, two call to actions, and then something to entice you to scroll down, which is like a little peekaboo effect of a screenshot of a software product. But like they actually hired a video team and a motion graphics team. So it's not just a screenshot of their software, it's actually in context. It's in a screen in some sort of beautiful room like that. But then this is where the simplicity makes me go, ugh, like, look at this grid. Like, a lot of people like to show, and no offense to you, Roy, because a lot of people like this trend. A lot of people like to show, where's your, here we go. A lot of people like to show a marquee of logos to show proof that, hey, people are using it. But the way they V7 did it, like they like right here, they didn't put it. You know, they're they, I don't, it's different. They didn't put it, but yet they have a whole section, and look how big the boxes are for these customers. It again just makes you want to flip your table. And this left line to show you, or this left column to show you what section you're on, like the context, because a lot of people like to use the eyebrow. I think you do that too, like this eyebrow stuff right here. Let me zoom in. I think they call it eyebrow. And so you're doing it too, Roy, where it's like a dot and an eyebrow. I've seen that happening a lot, more and more. And yeah, it's cool. But what if you put it on the left? I don't know. There's just little things that make me
Yeah,
go like, grr.
I love that website. That is, it is beautiful.
Yeah. So if anything, you know what we do as artists? We steal. Steal this. Let's put the eyebrows on the left. You know? Let's do something different, everyone. Like, and their tabs are on the left. Like, look at this. And the dot is following. Like it. Okay. Okay, I'm done nerding out.
That is insane.
But yeah, let me go to one of your clients. Let me turn this
Yeah,
off. You have your client side up, or one of
yeah,
your buyers up.
yeah.
There
Is
we
it?
go. Nice. He went with green glow. Oh, because the logo's green.
Yeah. So this I just found. So you can see that they changed quite a lot of it, really. Some of the stuff that I
Mm,
put in. Um, but yeah, they haven't. They, yeah, you could see they have made changes. They are a trading education. Um, and I was just looking at some of their testimonials.
nice.
Uh, Even here, if we go to the about, this is quite interesting as well. You can see
Uh
there's
oh.
some there.
I
Not
guess they
sure.
messed up somewhere, or they're
Yeah.
missing something. What's supposed to be in there? What in your template was there?
So it looks like maybe
Mm.
there's some in the cut. Yeah, probably the colors.
No, no,
Gone
look at
wrong.
the text. Wait, let's read the text together. The trading industry lacks transparency. What if they made that text transparent because of that? So it was on purpose. They're being transparent.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they
Yeah.
see even on here, right? The logos. That's the
Yeah.
challenge as well. These logos, they're not going to work best on the dark.
Yeah.
Um,
They need to fix those. Like make them all white. Like change them all to white and remove the backgrounds.
yeah, you can even
But
see here.
again,
They,
template
yeah.
buyers like you can't tell them to change stuff.
I mean, that's the beauty because they will just do it on themselves. They've never. I mean, they can do it themselves. That's the whole point of no code platforms. Why people love Framer and Webflow. They
Yeah.
can make changes. That's the whole point. Um, and then here is another one that I just found as well.
Ooh, okay, light mode.
Yeah, I think they wanted to go permanent on the white mode. And they got some bento here going on. Um, Not sure what language this is. It's not got it on there. I'm not sure why they got WordPress on there. That's interesting. Maybe they
Uh
maybe they got WordPress services. They still got my. They still got some of my avatars here. Um,
oh. Yeah, and
even some,
Jane Doe. So that's the thing about templates. You sell them in hopes that people use them in the right way, but you can't stop someone. Hey, look at that. So what's your story with this? What's your success story, Roy? How are you affiliated with this company? Tell us, because you're on there.
this is the. I mean, yeah. This is another. Actually, this is another opportunity that when you are designing templates, because I did mention we did talk about this in Flow Walkers, is how can you make things a bit more fun, right? So it's not directly in this text itself, but you can actually have a go at the content. So you
Yeah,
can, when you write testimonials, you can leave little nuggets in there. I mean, this is going above and beyond.
yeah.
Um, but I can't remember if I left some nuggets. I've left some in some testimonials here and there. I can't remember which ones. Um, it's referencing things like Marvel, just science fiction here and there.
Are
If
you
some,
allowed to add like a little tiny link or something, say on the footer, right? And they click on it, and actually it's a Rickroll. It goes to Rick Astley's "Never Gonna Give You Up" music video. Would that be allowed in the template marketplace?
I don't see why not, right? I don't see why not. It's a GIF, it's a meme.
Yeah,
I'd say that's being a bit more fun, right?
yeah.
So why not? That could be a 404 error page as well.
Oh yeah, that too. But cool. Well, congrats on the sales and
Thank you.
letting us know, what this life is like as a template designer. So we got a question. Let me go. Let me pull it up real quick. There we go. From Mohammed. Here we go. Uh, hey bro, I have learned Webflow. Should I learn Framer? Can you please tell me the scope and future of Framer? Is it worth it? And also tell me the competition. All right, so you've used both, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Well, what do you think the future is for Framer?
Well, first of all, if you've learned Webflow and you want to go into Framer, I mean that is already going to give you a leg up because I would say that Webflow is probably a bit more complex than Framer because it's got more powerful features. So if you're going to get into Framer, I mean you're probably going to pick it up pretty fast. Uh, in terms of the competition, I can definitely say it's starting to grow because I haven't been involved in the Webflow stuff. I don't know how competitive it is. I can definitely say Frame is more competitive. Well, for me, it's getting competitive. But if you look at the strategy at the beginning, how to find the next template, I think that will give you a good opportunity to find a template that's not, that is searched for, but there's not a lot of templates in the current marketplace. So I
Hmm.
think that is a good opportunity for beginners or anyone that's thinking of doing templates.
Yeah. Okay. So it's worth it to learn Framer, is what you're saying.
I would say that again, the future of Framer, I feel that is very healthy. The way that I mean, the community is strong, just like Webflow. I'm part of the community, and because of this template, it actually gave me an opportunity to talk at a Framer event as well,
Oh,
which I
nice.
was so scared to do. Um,
Did it just happen recently, or is it something that's coming up?
that was back in
Oh,
the summer. This was
okay.
during around August, I think it was, because
And
of the
what were you
template.
talking about?
I was just talking about my journey as a designer and uh, why why templates is a great thing to try. I just
Yeah.
talked about my experience on fantasy projects. That was the topic. Yeah, why
Mm,
why should you do fantasy projects? Because there is the good and the bad of that. Will it actually get you work? From my experience, it has got me some work, 100%. So that's why I always vouch for fantasy projects because if you have passion and you want to try stuff, that is the best opportunity for you just to try stuff.
yeah.
Especially for beginners. What is stopping you?
Yeah.
There's so many different types of design you can do. So yeah.
I mean, this makes me think. Have you seen the Across the Spider Verse movie?
Yes.
Miles Morales. Yeah.
Yes.
So, do you remember that there's scenes with Lego?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you know the backstory about those scenes?
No, not the backstory. No.
So, this kid, teenage, I don't know, 14, 15, loves Lego and has been playing around and learning Blender, the 3D animation tool, right? And when the Cross the Spider Verse trailer came out, he did it frame by frame in Blender in the style of Lego, like Lego Movie, right?
Wow.
It became so viral that the director saw it and they hired him to do those scenes that you see in the movie. So that's him with art direction from the directors, obviously. But it just comes to show, work on your fantasy projects. Just do stuff that you love, even if it's a even when it comes to templates, it makes sense. Like, do it because you're passionate about that one industry, and so people will see that and they'll feel that in your work, and someone will notice and someone will buy it. Probably won't be like a Marvel Studios, Sony Studios production type level. I mean, but I mean, you're doing it for the passion, and people will notice. So that's a great way to end this. Well, thank you so much, Roy, and thank you to everyone who's watched and added comments in the chat or asked Roy some questions. He was a really good stream. Roy, this is your time now. Like, I'm rolling out the red carpet for you. Let me know where people can find you, your Twitters, your portfolio. If you can show it off in your screen, like whatever you want for this time as I send you off.
Yeah, sure. So I would say, let me just go back.
Yeah,
I would
buy
just
his
say
template. That's what it is.
templates, and then yeah, it's just the whole e-commerce store journey of building one, because when you do have a template, you have it in the marketplace, you're solely dependent on their marketplace. So the challenge really is, can you get sales outside of the marketplace long term?
Yeah.
So this is what has led me to creating an e-commerce store. And the journey with this is also using Cursor AI to help me build this page, because I wanted to learn a bit of React. So I'm currently going through this process of building the e-commerce store. Also, this is like the about page. Things are looking rough here and there, but yeah, this was actually the fantasy talk
Oh,
project.
cool.
Yeah, that was really nice. And the actual offices, Atomico, they are early investors in Framer. That was really
Oh.
nice. Where they held the talk. So yeah, just having an about page, building out the blog as well. The reason why you want to do a blog is because you want to bring in traffic, organic
Mhm.
traffic, and then that brings into a whole other thing about keywords. What keywords are you targeting? So ShadCN is a framework that I'm getting into, and that is with React. Uh, yeah. So yeah, if you
Mm.
want to join me on this journey, I have a YouTube channel as well. I'm currently my tag is Ready Designer One.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
you check it out. Follow me on there, and yeah, that'll be my journey going forward. Is just sharing the whole e-commerce process and Cursor AI, all that good stuff.
Nice. Well, thank you so much. And Nikki is saying you guys should do a live build together. Maybe future stream, would you be down to come back and then we can just build a page together? Like, you can teach me Framer live.
Yeah, yeah, why
Oh,
not?
that
Yeah, that would be awesome.
great idea, Nikki. Yeah. We'll make that happen. Not just for you, but for me too. Selfishly, I want you to teach me how to be better on Framer, so I can expand my knowledge and my skills.
Yeah, that'll be an honor, massive honor.
Cool. Well, thank you so much, Roy, for your time, your knowledge, and your tips. It's a very interesting life as a template designer, and it doesn't seem as scary as I kept thinking in my head. So I appreciate you so much. And guys, Ready Designer One, search for him on YouTube, subscribe, and yeah, support this person. And for everyone else, if you want to be a guest, wherever you are in your career, whether you're just starting out, you've just changed careers, or you just graduated from school, and you want to talk about your career path, or you're like a legend, you've been in this game for decades, I want to hear your story. So just DM me on Twitter at the Pixel Geek, or send me a message somehow. You can find me. But yeah, I'd love to have on a stream. And again, Claps in chat for Roy. And Roy, good luck with the rest of your business. I hope you have a great weekend.
You
All right.
too. Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Take care. Bye.
All right, everyone. That is it for this stream. I stream every Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. And if you want to join the Twitter space every morning, I do flow walkers with my friend Roy and other people in here. I see Jay is in here as well. He's a flow walker. And flow walkers is just this very chill Twitter space that happens 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. Pacific time every weekday. And it's never recorded. And it's a place for you to get support and just to help each other grow, because that's what it is. We're just humans trying to understand this world and trying to get through this industry, because we want to help people, and that's what we do at design as designers and web developers. We're trying to help people with the power of technology be better humans. So I hope this helped you. I hope this stream helped you, and I'll see you next week. Bye. Oh, I always forget. Why am I forgetting? And thanks for making the web beautiful together. See ya.